In this video, I'm going to convert a black DE1 Pro into a DE1XL. Now we provide everything you need in order to do this. Going through the various parts, we've got a replacement cover, a tablet stand, a Pro steam wand, and some extra fittings, a Torx screwdriver, 2 wrenches which you need to replace the steam wand with, some standoffs which will be used to hold this back panel with magnets off the back, a different leg base which is about 6 centimeters larger where the cables will go through, and finally a coffee in order to have something pleasant to drink while you do this. Now I've already taken the portafilter and the group head handle off. I've also taken the tablet off. So next thing I'm going to do is take this drip tray off, and I'll also take the water tank out. First step in this is to take the cover off the top because we're going to replace it with this slightly longer cover. You slide the cover off like this, and you'll note that there is some plastic on this side. That's just extra insulation against these pumps. So this side here always against the pumps. And you'll see the same thing in this case. You'll see some insulation here. That's on the pump side. So we're just going to take this and slide it right back over, like so, and try to line up these holes right here. And that's lined up now. Now I can go ahead and screw this back on. Oh, I screwed up.
What?
Steam wand.
Oh. Okay. Well, it's okay.
Oh, I can totally edit it. I just won't do that.
Yep.
While the cover is off, we're going to replace this steam wand with this one. Now, this is not strictly essential. This steam wand is better for steaming larger quantities of milk, up to 1 liter, whereas this size is really optimized for single servings, 350 milliliters up to 600 milliliters. This is 600 milliliters to 1 liter. Depending on your use, you may want this larger one, or you may want to stay with the smaller one. You can change your mind at any time. Now the way this works is there's a tube that goes in here and a little paper clip that goes in and holds the tubing. And that's what we're going to do. What you're looking for is this clip right here, and you can actually just pull it out with your fingers like so. Now that you've done that, the tube here will pull out easily. But what's happened is there's a little rubber ring that is supposed to go here, which has remained stuck inside. So I'm just going to use my Torx screwdriver and just gently bring it out. And there we go. And now that I've brought it out, I'm going to put it back onto here where it belongs. The next step is to put a wrench on this side and hold this fast so that you can then turn from this side. On the outside, you're looking for the 26 size, and you want to be careful about this because it is quite easy to scratch the mirror panel. On the inside, you're looking for the 25 side. So I basically put one wrench here and hold, and then this wrench here is going to loosen. Here I am loosening this like so. And once it's loose, you can take the wrenches off, come back to the inside, and just loosen this completely with your fingers until it falls off. And you'll notice there's a little bit of a ring right there. On the inside, there's a white ring. So there's your white ring from the inside, and on the outside there's a black ring. Just to be tidy, what we'll do is put this back on and loosely screw this together. like so. So now that we have that as a backup. Now let's take the new steam wand and we're just going to assemble it right back on. So I take off that, take off the white ring, and then I'm going to put this through like so. I'm going to put the white one so it's flanging kind of outwards, right? You'll see it going up like that. That's what you're looking to do. And then this one here, you might have to just put that in. You can hand tighten it to get it started. Make sure that that's tight, this little metal part here. And I'm going to do the same thing, which is 25 on the inside here. And then 26 on the outside here. And now that's quite tight. You can now take your steam wand and just pivot it so it's right side up, because this thing can spin however you like. And this thing here shouldn't be moving. So the final step is to connect this up to here and to put the clip in. So to do that, we just push this in gently, like so. And you're just going to wiggle it in until you can now see that there's enough space to put your clip in. And while you push in there, you put the clip in. And you can see that clip is not going to come out unless you pull it out, and this is nice and tight. You just want to make sure this tube is going in more or less straight, and that will prevent any leaks. So we've now changed our steam wand. We're ready to put the case back on the top. When you do so, just line the holes up. If you're not so confident that you've done everything right, you can choose to power the machine up and run steam with the cover off and just verify there are no leakages. And I've done this a few times, so I'm not bothering, but it's absolutely something that I would recommend doing the first time you do it to make sure that there's no leak on your steam. Now I'm going to rotate the machine so we can see the back. And what we're going to do is replace this back panel with these standoffs that are going to go on these 4 screws. And then this panel is going to go on. This is a version 1.0 machine which has got Phillips screws on it. Some have Phillips screws, some have Torx. So you might be able to use the Torx screwdriver we give you, or you might need a normal Phillips head screwdriver. I then go ahead and remove this back panel, and to do so I need to also unscrew this little lever which connects to the water uptake. And then what I'm going to do is push this slightly back up and put that handle back in. Like so. Next I have 4 of these brass standoffs, and they're going to go into each of these 4 spots. And I'm going to put a magnet on the end of each one. So first I'll put the magnet on, which is going to go with a screw like this and be held on, like so. Like that. You can use the screws that are coming right off the back of the chassis, or you can use these screws that we've also given you in the package. They both work. The flush screws work slightly better for the plastic to go flush against the magnets. Next, I'll screw these into each of these 4 locations. Next, you can verify that everything works by putting this back panel on like so. and you can see it snaps on quite nicely. You can also take off the plastic here. And that's going to be hiding all your cables. However, we still got one more thing to do, which is that we need to change the legs. Now to do that, we flip the whole machine upside down. You'll need a Phillips screwdriver for this. There's 4 screws, and there's a separate video that I've done on how to change the leg assembly. But basically you change these 4 screws and then make sure the spacers don't move and put the legs back on. So when I lift these up, I make sure that these spacers don't move. And then I take the longer leg assembly that has this hole in the back, it's about 6 centimeters longer, and it's going to go back on here. And when I put it back on, I want to just make sure that all my spacers are in fact over the holes, because it won't come back together if that's not the case. And then I line everything up like that. Good. And put the screws back in. Now I'm just about done. That's going to flip back upside down. Like so. I will turn it around and you can see that. Now the back panel is going on here. The last thing you're going to do is use this tablet stand instead of the standard tablet stand. Now you can choose to just use your normal tablet and tablet stand here on the XL model. If you have already glued the Steely stand to this tablet, then that's pretty much what you're going to do. You're going to actually just leave it there, unless you decide you'd like to buy a second tablet so that you can glue it on here, and then you have an option of either way. What we're going to do here is simply screw on this onto the 3 holes that are here. We've given you 3 flush black screws for that, and they are Torx, so we're going to just mount that right back on here. Your final step is going to take your tablet to peel this off and then very carefully line that up and stick it to the front. Now in general, I like the tablet bottom to line up with this. So I come out like this, line up, and then just push it back and make sure it's centered. Once it's glued onto that 3M tape, it's not coming off, which is very much intentional. Now take your glass of coffee, have a congratulatory sip. You're basically done. If you want it on the countertop, there is one more option, which is we've also sent you this countersunk bracket. This hole here is for the front. And what you'll be doing is mounting this tube onto the bottom there, this here, and then using a screwdriver to tighten that onto the drain tube. That drain tube will then need to go to some sort of draining receptacle or dirty water outlet for your house. And what you'll find is to put the machine in, you're just going to settle it like so. I tend to add the water tank afterwards, but it's up to you. Like so. On the back, you will need to take the back panel off in order to slide the water tank in, and then it goes back down. Then that panel goes back there. Finally, you'll take your drip tray. This is the unplumbed one, so I can just slide it in. But if you have a plumbed drip tray, you'll see a hole here in the ceramic. We've given you a little black plastic tube. There's also a little cable tie. You'll slide that over the hole and cable tie it. And the goal is for the bottom of this to go directly over the hole here. Now the intent of that is for the dirty water from the flush to go directly in here. If there should ever be any spillage inside here, it would also be captured by this sink and everything would go out in one place. There we go. There is our black DE1XL. In this case, it's been countersunk. You can leave it on a table or countersink it. You can see the process is pretty straightforward, and you can do the same thing in reverse if you'd like to back your XL back into a Pro model, for example, if you want to travel with it. Hope it's been helpful. If you have any questions, please go ahead and ask.